All right, welcome to week 9. We actually are going to cover a couple of things here today, but before I begin, how are you all doing? Everybody okay? I've got a couple of people out sick from this class and my other class. So I hope whatever bug is going around hasn't gotten you. And that's speaking of bugs, I just want to say I haven't had a chance to update your grades. I know in my email a lot of you all are submitting stuff that are missing, and I see it. I just didn't have a chance to update it because after last Wednesday's class, well Thursday technically Thursday Wednesday night into Thursday, I got really sick. So I just spent and then we had stuff to do over the weekend, and I was like. I'm still in recovery mode. So I'm working a little slowly, but I hope you all are doing well and not getting sick. Wear your mask when you go out and stuff so that you don't catch anything. It's the flu season and the cold season and now the COVID season. So I hope everyone is doing, pretty healthy. And if you are sick, let me know. I will let you all, I mean, I'll, you know, um, try to catch you up on the work. But speaking of catching up on the work, all the videos are up. I stopped having the chance of updating the videos with the chapter markers, mainly because they were kind of, different parts of the videos. I try to break down into different sections. So that's why I didn't really do the chapter markers so much. The other thing I want to say is your business cards. I don't know how many people submitted. Okay, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9, 10. I had 10 submissions, one through email. Let me see if I have another one through email. Okay, yes, 11 submissions, 2 through email and 9 on the class. Jen, I just got yours. So, and Curtis, you here today? Um, wait, is it Curtis? April, where did you send it? Did you send it through email? Uh, Okay, I did not see yours. When you didn't send it today, did you, April? Let me search for your last name. Um, I'm running. Okay, I got it. I got it. All right. One thing I gotta remind you all, or kind of go over. So April, I did get yours. One thing I want to tell you all is that I kind of messed up on the directions of submitting it. And so I had to update the directions. I caught it this earlier today. I had to update the directions because what happens with Illustrator is if you have a font that you used that I don't have in my system or other people don't have in their system, it's not going to show up correctly. That's why I wanted you all to do a .pdf um, export as well and submit that to me, simply because if you use a font that I don't have, then it's not going to look the same. And I put the directions up here. You just go to the main menu and go File, Save As, and then under here you select my windows are all on top of each other. Under here you select save as type Adobe PDF. What that will do is basically burn in the text that you used, um, and we'll be able to see it properly. So that's the best way. Some of you all are submitting, whoops, this is not it. Most of you all have done the PDF. If I don't have the PDF while we go through it, do me a favor and just save it as PDF and just re-email me or resend it to me. And that way we can see exactly what you intended your text to be. And that's something I totally forgot to mention last week. And also, just so you know, I decided um, simply because I haven't been able to update the grades, as I said, like I was sick and then I'm just getting over it. And then we're also moving. So I'm in between, um, I'm in between homes and in between internet connections. So that's creating a big problem this week with not just you all, my classes, but also at work. So, just bear with me. But basically, if you are missing any outstanding work, and I'm going to come, I told you all I will email you last week and I didn't get a chance, but um, basically, um, today is the 2nd of November. And if you have any outstanding work, you've got basically until the week before the week of Thanksgiving to submit it. So the 23rd. So if you've already submitted it, don't worry. If you are resubmitting work, hurry up and get it in before the 23rd. After that, I gotta close the grade books on any previous missing work just so that I don't get confused. And also, it's not fair for everyone else that did the work on time and submitted the work correctly on time. So I just want you all to be aware of that. Like I am going to be, lenient, but I also have to kind of draw the line as far as cutoff date. So just be aware of that. Um, and again, I'll give you all more warnings before November 23rd to just hurry up and submit your work. I might actually push that to um, November 30th instead of the 23rd, just because I want to give you all extra time. I know some of you are doing a lot better than others. So, I just want to make sure that everybody's kind of on the same page. And then we have two assignments between this week and the next 2 weeks, and then your final assignment, which will be, or your final project, which is going to be a poster design. Poster designs are fun. I know the first one noticed we started kind of with the poster design with the motivational, demotivational poster, and that was a very simple design with simple things and in using Photoshop. But this final project is going to be a poster design that you create in Illustrator and you focus on layout and things like that. There is a brochure project that I was supposed to kind of go through, but I don't know if I really want to do that because, to be honest, brochures are a little bit boring. There's going to be a different, you could do we're going to do a layout project on the 16th, but a brochure is kind of sort of boring. So I want to make something that's a little bit more interesting for you all. Um, so as far as week 9, this week we don't have much. It's a very small agenda. I want to go over everybody's business card. From the looks of thing, I think you all had pretty good time doing that. I feel like you did just from the looks of it. And then I want to go over just quickly paintbrush and texture techniques. Like remember the texture design project you all did in Photoshop? I'm going to show you all how you can, incorporate textures in Illustrator. It's not necessarily going to be for an assignment, but these are all skills that you should know and in order to create better design, better artwork, better artistic elements that go into things. And then your assignment for this week is to follow a tutorial and create a vector robot. So I'll go over all of those in detail as we as we go through class. So I have a feeling today's class, I mean, unless we go through a lot of issues, today's class is going to be um, kind of short, I think. Every time I say it's going to be short, it actually ends up being long. So I don't really want to say that. April, do you mind Well, we can look at your logo, but do you mind submitting your like re-exporting your business card as a .pdf, just according to the directions there? That way here under the place where you're supposed to submit, just look at the direction and just send me another message with the .pdf logo. And I think everyone else sent me the .pdf version in addition to the Illustrator version. All right, so let's get started with the business cards. Normally, I go down the list. I don't know. Yeah, let's do down the list, and then I'll catch everybody in the email that sent it to me in the email. So, um, Matthew, are you here? Yes, you are. All right, Matthew, you're first.
Yes.
I'm going to go over the business design because what that's going to do is allow us to see both the business card and the logo. So, this is your business card. I like the colors. What do you all think? I'm gonna let you all chime in. You can and don't feel shy. I'm not, we're not here to bash everybody's work, but we're here to kind of look through it and make sure that you know, it follows the design guidelines and it looks good. So any comments, anyone, on Matthew's work? Deshaun says, I like the warm colors. I do too. This is that's good. Looks good, but there's a lot of space between the logo and the text. Madison hit it right on the mark. Um, that's the biggest issue I have with the card is Madison's comment. There's like so much negative space here, and then it's so dangerously close to the edge that you leave no margin, Matthew, on the edges. So just remember that, you want to leave like equal margins on the top, bottom, left, and right. So these are like way too close to the edge is the biggest comment that I have. Other than that, I think the design, the logo is pretty good. It could be, feel like, this is kind of just because you're still brand new and getting used to Illustrator. You've kind of exercised some of the skills and you've got like an interesting maple leaf design. But and then the drop. Remember we talked about this, like the stem could be a drop of the syrup. So you tried to do that, and that's good enough. And the only thing that's going to make it better, frankly, is just practice. And that goes for everybody, not just Matthew, but everybody else. Like the more you practice, I think I said this a bunch of times before, but the more you practice in these softwares, the better you're going to get at it, the better you're going to understand how the tools work and understand how to go around it. Yolanda says, I like the dimension on the maple drop, but I think the spacing could be better. So Yolanda is correct as well. And well, correct. The observation is correct. And then Donovan says the colors go with each other on a simple level. Yeah, the colors, the good job on the colors, but where, and also like the logo too. I actually like the logo, except I don't really know what's going on over there at the bottom. Matthew, what that drop right here? Is that a mistake or did you intentionally put that there?
The water droplet. I like to see it.
The straight line below that.
Oh, that's like the stem, and then like there's like a drop from the leaf.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see. So it's like, okay, what I would do is make that stem just be a little bit thicker so it looks more of like a stem. That might just a little bit like increase the stroke to like, I don't know. I think you have like 1 point here, but maybe 3 points would do it. And then there's like a little bit of a tear right here, and that's just because the shapes, maybe the colors didn't come together, the shapes didn't come together. So you could just connect them or overlap them so we don't see that little bit of area over there. And just, the droplet, I feel like it could be a little bit longer, just a little bit. Right now it looks like a droplet, but it can also look like a punching bag. But do you know what I mean? Like just make that a little bit longer.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Okay. And then again, like what the major comment that everybody and that I have is that basically there's like too much negative space here, and then this shouldn't be way so close to the edge. So just move that in a little bit, give yourself enough space around here, and around here. All right. And then same thing with this. I would make this a little bit bigger too, just so that it's a little bit easier to read. Um, and fill up more of this negative space that you got going on. But other than that, this is a pretty good um, design and pretty good you know example of a business card. It's got room for improvement, but it's a good start. So good work, Matthew, overall. And just keep those comments in mind so that when if you have to, I would highly recommend you redoing it, but I think it's a great start. All right, not
Right.
redoing it but updating it based on the comments. um by the way, the as we critique this, I hope you all are taking notes for your work, because it really helps just to if you take the notes and you go through it, and when it comes time to revise them, you can go ahead and revise them. What I'm going to do for this particular session, you all won't see it, but you'll see it in your individual thing, is that I'm going to hold on, give me a second. I'm going to attempt to grade them as we go along. So be sure you have your notes, be sure you're taking notes. Also, I don't know if you all don't take notes or not, but it's really important just to take notes in class, whether you um, do it or not, whether you update it or not, but it's just always a good idea to take notes. Um, okay, next is Luna. Luna, I thought I saw you there. Yep, you're here. All right. So I'm going to pull up everybody's business card so we could look at everything together instead of just one thing. And unfortunately, I have to download these, otherwise they won't open up big enough. Let's try this. Whoa, too big. Uh, that's weird. Why did that happen? Oh, that's your logo. There we go. Luna, good work. Very impressive. I really like the overall design. It really reads as a um, complete, cohesive um, work of design, but also it is very good in terms of, just the overall how a business card should be. Um, and your company is Rings of Saturn. I think, you be having a name like Luna, I think it's interesting that you went for like the space theme, because Luna means moon. So it's interesting that you went for that. Very good work. The only thing I would change, this is nitpicking, the only thing I would change is get rid of that comma. You don't need that comma there. In fact, if you have for future reference, you all, if you have something like that, you can leave it as dr, or you can spell, I would recommend spelling the whole thing out, drive. So um that's good. I like the fact that Luna Hernandez, sales associate, the text work well together, and it's simple, nothing, not trying to be super fancy, and what you're doing is really letting the graphic and the design speak for itself and capture the attention of the person that is going to ultimately, that you're going to hand out the business card to. So good work on that. I also like that you did rings and then a capital O for the of, and then a capital S for Saturn. And I do understand that this font um, works really well with this because it's so simple, but the effectiveness of the design really leads us to see all of the information within that graphic, within the business card. And good work on the logo as well, translating it from your sketch to the Illustrator. And also, Matthew, I'm sorry, I should have said that to yours too. Good work with the logo, transforming it from your sketch to the Illustrator design. Good job. The colors are great. Some of you all, I might need to end up hiring after the semester's over to redesign my business card because I think some of you all would do it much better than me. So, um, good work, Luna. Do you want to add does anybody else want to add anything to that? You can either type it out or say it in the chat room. Um, I know we're getting a lot of, you know, um, super positive comments on this, so uh, I'm not going to add anything else to that. All right, so if we're done with Luna, Luna, do you want to say anything?
No,
Okay. All right. Okay, good work, Luna. Let's move on
thank you.
to let's move on to Deshaun. And again, I'm just doing the business card so we can see the whole thing. Oh, interesting design. This is your circuit, right, Deshaun? And what made you choose Texas? Are you in Texas as the address? Random McDonald's location. I love that. Great. Um, I really like the use of fonts. Now you have like I think you have two different ones, right? This one and this one, or are they the same? So this I think one's both. So that okay. Yeah, I really like the choice of font. And again, nothing fancy, nothing crazy, but together it looks really interesting. I mean, it works, not interesting. It works very nicely. I like the tagline because I like that you included the tagline. And I like that, in the original sketch when we talked about it last week, you had like a bunch of different sketches, but um, this final layout, I mean, this final logo, it works. It's very simple and yet effective. There's some, I mean, I don't know if you intentionally meant to do that. It's not quite perfect. Like if you look at circuits, obviously circuits are designed by things that machines that design circuits. So they're going to be perfect. But I don't know if you intentionally left it imperfect or if you left it like that so that it works with the design. But I think, the way you worked this negative space, I frankly think it works with the design. And those of us in the tech world will definitely get that that's a circuit print on a circuit board kind of thing. So, you definitely got an idea of who the audience is. So we talked about that. Someone said, um, oh, Yolanda said she really likes the layout of the design. I do too. It's very indicative of a well thought out and well designed business card. One thing I got to tell you all though, when you do a black business card where the background is black, you're going to end up paying a lot more in ink fees. Just so you know, I ended up doing this when I was younger, except mine was colorful. It cost a lot more money to have that's why you see a lot of business cards against white, or whatever the color of the paper is, because it costs a lot of money to get something that's colorful or black. But it also definitely catches people's eyes, and it stands out as being a different business card. So Deshaun, good work. And again, good work with the logo design as well, so that and incorporating it all into the business card. And as far as the layout, I really like the at here. I guess that's how this text at symbol is. It just kind of the whole thing kind of works together as like a technology kind of um as a design that's like, for the tech industry. So good work, Deshaun. And uh Ugana, do you have a business card that you submitted? And are you here? Okay, Ugana's not in class, so I will skip Ugana's critique for now and just submit or tell him or her tell her that she's missing the business card. All right, Deshaun, let's see. Whoops. Okay, Madison, you are next. You did images, so let's just go through your image here.
Because
When
it's getting uploaded.
what's that?
I blame Canvas and the fact and will let me upload the AI version.
Yeah, let me pull up your AI version because I think that's the one you sent me. Didn't I just respond to you?
Uh,
Or
no, but I did send you an email the color of my color logo.
okay, there it is. So which one you want? Color? Let's go with the color one that has more impact.
Okay.
So this is Deshaun, I'm sorry, Madison's colored version of the logo. Did you use 3.5 by 2 inches?
Uh, I was trying to, but like the logo I had was like drawn on using with like the paintbrush and pencil, and I couldn't really, and it was too big apparently
Mm-hmm.
for the 3 point. Yeah, for that size, it so it wouldn't fit because it was apparently too big.
Okay.
I was trying to fix the image, but it wouldn't let me. Like,
What you could do is just simply like scale the image down a little bit
huh?
and have it all fit because we wanted to have it in the like the industry standard 3.5 inch by 2 inch. So it's definitely 2 inches high, but I would say it's like 4 inches wide instead of 2.5 inch. So next time, just shrink that down a bit so you can fit all the other things in your in your business card. Um, and for comparison, everyone, this is the black and white version, but that's why I said the color version has a lot more impact um, of the business card. So, any comments, anyone, on this? I want to let you all start. April says the color version's better. Yep, definitely.
Thank you, April.
The green dots could be on the other side. Yeah, this is what she's talking about. I think like on this side, but yeah, the logo design is definitely very interesting. I really like the logo design, but I have a few things to say as far as the business card. Um,
Okay.
the layout of it. What I would have, first of all, like make it the correct size. The fox definitely is the center of attraction, but what happens with this is that the fox draws us in too much and the placement of everything else just kind of seems a little bit all over the place. You've all probably heard the word it's busy. I don't like that word really because we're always busy. Everything is busy. But just thinking about layout, it's kind of like you know it's competing for attention against all these other things. So just if you had the company email under like what I would recommend is having the Fox um exactly to do bullet point, having the Fox on one end where you can shorten it and then maybe underneath the Fox you can have your name, Madison Hawkins, Chief Manager. You with me so far?
Yeah, I wanted to make the fox on the side. That was the plan, but it wouldn't. The Illustrator wouldn't let me do that. I don't know.
Um what do you mean it wouldn't let you do that?
I
Because
guess I guess maybe because of the fact that I drew this whole logo, and when I try to like I guess move it into another another open file, so I can be able to do that. It was just too big.
Okay, well, I mean, ultimately, like I said, um, I'm going to tell you something. You might not like it. I don't believe students when they say it wouldn't let me do that because you are in control, not the software. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So there
I was,
was
I was
some
trying.
kind of technical glitch or something technical that you were having a hard time with that just didn't allow you to resize it. Is that, you know what I mean? You were about to say something. Go ahead and what were you about to say?
I was like this little fox thing was like kind of pretty much based off one of the tutorials you sent out.
Hmm.
The rough sketch tutorial. Maybe that was the problem. I'm not sure.
Can you send me your Illustrator?
Illustrator.
Okay, send me your Illustrator file, with this card so that I can kind of go through it. Email it to me, okay?
I was trying to. I was on my dad's laptop and it wouldn't pull up no matter how many times I saved it on the AI.
It wouldn't.
It wouldn't like save it into the correct places or like not even show up at all when I saved it.
Um, oops. Um, I accidentally sent someone else my email address. Okay. Email it to me. I'm not sure.
I have your email, but I'm saying it wouldn't like show up in the files when I wanted to send it.
Like you couldn't see where it saved it to.
Pretty much, yeah. I would save it and it just wouldn't show up in the files, so I can to bring it out.
Okay. That's
But like
how are you
I was on my dad's laptop.
okay, how are you say so when you like let me just open up something here. I'll just open this up. So when you go to save it, go file, save as, all right? And then from there, choose where you need to save it. You can go this PC and then
Wait,
documents or
wait,
desktop or something.
good, good. Could you go back? My internet just went out for a minute.
Okay, so file, save as.
Yes,
Okay, and then when you do that, then you can specify
I
like
did.
where you're saving to.
I did that, but it still wouldn't show up.
So where did you save it? Under like documents or something?
I'd say it into like save photos. That's
Uh,
what I did have it as.
okay. Do it somewhere. Okay, so then hmm, then when you saved it, then it just didn't show up in the when you went to that folder.
Yeah.
Uh, that's weird. Okay. Well, and when you save it as, make sure you give it a different name. You did that?
Yeah, it has a name, a different name.
Okay. Um, so how did you export this image?
Uh, I uh, I send it to my own personal drive to save it into my photos and to send it into the into Canvas, on a different device through photos.
Okay, so I think what you're doing, are you using the cloud to save it? Don't use the cloud because that's
I'm
how
not
I
using the
do
cloud.
not get images from you all.
No, I wasn't using the cloud. It was just the regular save.
Okay. All right. Do you have access to that computer right now? Like, is that the one you're using?
I should have access right now. It's downstairs. I don't know if he's using it right now though.
Okay. All right. Well, let me talk. I'll talk to you after we get through all of this and today's things because I want to make sure that you have access to your files because without that it's like you can't really do anything. But going back to your design, basically if you have the fox on one side and then you can have your name underneath the fox or your name can be on this side and just use these little icons here as your bullet points, resize them all so that they're the same size and just have like so you can have your name here, then an icon of the company of the email, make sure it's like small enough, and then the company email, instead of company email, just put the email. You don't have to like specify company email. We've been it's like 30 years since email has been part of the world. So everybody, when they see an email address, they pretty much know it's the email. So, but I mean, if you want to leave the company email word, you can. If you need the two spaces, but just know that it's like extra information. But I would definitely shrink this so that it's smaller. Shrink this so that this fits here, and this would be the second thing here. The address. Um, and instead of these being all centered, and again, get rid of the little comma, but instead of this being all centered, you could put the zip code to the left or to the right or to the left. I would have them all basically facing, left. All aligned to the left. And then your website, you can again shrink that to the same size as this and this, have the website and then the phone symbol here with the phone number. So it'd have your name, a little bit bigger, and then the rest of them could be like bullet points, but instead of bullets, they would be these icons all on one side. Because right now, it kind of reads as all over the place. It's like you have a great logo, but as far as layout, you're just like, I'll just put these around here because I can't figure out how to move it. So uh, I really need to see your after Illustrator file to really help you figure out what the issue you're having. So once you're able to email me the Illustrator file, I can help you out a little bit better. But as far as just the general comments, you want to focus on layout so um, that it's a little that it reads a little bit better, and like this information is not competing with this information versus the title of the company and things like that. You want to have it neatly laid out so that the viewer can see the information very quickly. Does that make sense, Madison?
Yeah.
Okay, so try to figure out if after during break or something, try to figure out if you can get that file. Sometimes what I do, if all else fails, you have a thumb drive.
No.
Okay. You don't have any kind of like external thumb drive or anything at all?
I can ask my dad.
Okay. Save it on a thumb drive, plug that into the computer, and then when you go file, save as, you're gonna, find the thumb drive somewhere here and save that on the thumb drive. That way you know that it's at least on the thumb drive. And when you save it, make sure you also pay attention to the file type. You want Adobe Illustrator.ai for the one that you're going to share with me so that I can kind of figure out what is going on with your overall, issues with the business card. All right.
All right.
Okay. Good overall work, Madison. Just needs just needs more focus on creating basically a better layout that's a lot easier for the viewer to read and access the information.
All right.
Okay, Curtis. Yep, I got yours. So let's go ahead and look at yours. Um, did you give me the? Oh, sorry, I'm having issues here. Curtis, are you here? All right, Curtis, you are not here. Um, so I'm going to skip yours. But overall, it's a good work. Um, comment on that separately. Who's next after Curtis? Victor. Victor, you're here, right? Yep. It's loading. Wait, actually, I didn't want to load it. I wanted it to download. So let's download your business card. Good. Interesting. Well, I like the logo of the logo is like uh very strong in this case as far as the design. Any comments from any of you all before I start for Victor's work? No comments. April says the logo could be a more gold color. I do agree with Yolanda. I like the use of stars at the bottom. It helps to ground the work. Um, it does appear a little monotone, meaning that, it's just one color, and I'll go into that. And Deshaun, definitely, I agree with you. I think the weakest part of this design is really the font. I feel like you spent a lot of time creating this beautiful logo and thinking about, your, well, Warrior King. I'll say that in a minute, but thinking about how it's going to be. But then I feel like you just kind of rushed through the uh rest of the part using the type. Um, uh, all of you all are saying some good comments as far as what I think needs to be done. The logo is a little medieval. I think that's what Victor was going for. But this greenish goldish color is kind of sort of it would be okay if it weren't like repeated throughout, but what I would really have liked to seen is like maybe if you could stick with this green color but then make your crown a little bit more of a vibrant gold yellowish color, as well as something some of the other elements. Or you could, if you're sticking to the one to the red and this color, I would have liked to seen a little bit of a gold color instead of kind of this greenish color. And then the other thing I want to say, don't really, don't do I don't want to say don't, but there's a time and place for fonts which go vertically. One of the things, especially if you're trying to give a business card and you want your business to be known, you don't want to force your viewers to, think about what that says and how it says it. You want it to be easily readable. I would have just done Warrior King, but another, like really stylize the font. Remember the font tutorial where you can break up the font and make turn them into shapes that you can later that you can manipulate. That would have been better, but this is first of all, it's you don't want to force your viewers to read it vertically like that. You can get away with it if you're doing certain things, but as part of a logo or as part of a business, and the first impression, you don't want people to like, like Warrior King, is that what it says, or King Warrior? Have it so that it's easily identifiable. And then also, like, I just feel like the logo, the business card overall, like I like the star effect. Um, I would have made it just a little bit bigger or more, and a little bit on the bottom, but it does help to ground your overall image. But I would have just made this, give this guy and your logo and the thing a lot more space. It's like way too much disconnect here. And then here you've got these, which are kind of, to me, they read like random afterthoughts. You're like, oh, I can't figure out how to do this. Let me just do this real quick. It, you know, certain times it would work, but with business cards, like you just want to aim for simplicity. So I would have just put your name that's bigger without the circle, and then the address, but break the address down into um, two lines at least, maybe three, and then keep, all of this, but also just kind of have it so that the layout is much better and it's like it reads vertically. So we start up with your name, your position, warriorking.com, and your email address and phone number, and then the street address on the bottom, and just a better way of wording this so that the viewer, they're not looking at it like, is it King Warrior, Warrior King, Rory Wa King, because you don't want to do, like, again, unless you're a established entity. McDonald's can get away with this, Sony can get away with this because everybody knows them. But for most businesses, you can, you really want to have it so that you don't want to allow you want it to be easily identifiable, the name and everything. But like I said, the strongest part of this is like the design of the logo, and I really do like this to help it ground the business card. It just could be a little bit longer and a little bit further down, although you did maintain margins, which is good. But I would just make, I would just shrink your margin a little bit more so that it's a little like bigger, your logo, and your information is a little easier to read instead of going kind of like, this. Because if I really wanted your street address, like, think about this as printed out. This is 3.5 by 2 inches. That's already small. So when you print this out, it's going to be super tiny. So think about the font, and think about how you are um, putting the layout together with the font. Does that make sense, Victor, to you? Okay. And so you understand basically, like, what we're kind of looking for as far as layout and just how the thing would be designed a lot better so that it's easier to, get all those information, right? Yes. Okay. Okay. Madison says, how did you guys make your logo? Like the tools? I think everybody used the pen tool, right? In addition to the pen tool, you use like the Pathfinder to connect shapes, and things like that, right? Everyone, as uh, answer to Madison's question. Yep. So, you pretty much it's a combination of pen tool and filling in the shapes and rearranging them in layers in the layers. So again, Madison, I wish I can see your Illustrator file, and I could give you a little bit more pointer for that. Gia, the eraser tool doesn't work like the way you think. The eraser tool is more like a cut tool where it cuts up, or you know, allows you to work with the shapes, um and basically it's not like Photoshop's eraser tool. What it does is, let's say I have this shape here. This is my business card size. Um, if I have a shape here that's filled in with a certain color, and I take the eraser tool, what it's basically going to do is create a shape within that shape. It's going to create a cutout, is what I should say. And so if I have like another color below that, so I got another layer here, and under that layer, I'm going to lock my original layer. Under that layer, I'm going to select like a different color, and let's just put this down here. So basically it just creates a cutout, and that's how the eraser tool works. And everything else is very similar to all the other path tools in Illustrator, but basically if you if you double click on the eraser tool, you'll get the erase tool options, and you can make them bigger, smaller. You can adjust the roundness, et cetera, et cetera. So basically it just cuts out holes. Yeah, that's the problem with illustrators. When you're working with Illustrator, you have to get out. It's a vector tool, and it completely relies on paths. and shapes. So you have to get kind of that out of your head that you're using Photoshop, so that you know that. Savoy, did you submit a PDF of that, Savoy? Yes, no. Are you here? All right, Savoy is not responding, but I'm just gonna say I like the interesting typographical work you've done for your image. But let me know when you're back in class so that we can go over your image. Are you
No,
there?
I'm back.
Okay, so I'm trying to open yours but it's not opening for some reason. Oh, there we go. Finally. Okay. All right. So again, give me a PDF version of this, but we'll critique this. Again, it's simple to the point. What I would have liked to seen is your logo be a little bit more bigger, and this can actually get scooted over a little bit more, scooched over a little bit more. I would not repeat the word here again, just because your logo is your actual name of the company. It's like, how Sony is the logo and the name, Pepsi is the logo and the name, Coca-Cola as well. But I like the overall, excuse me, I like the overall design of it. It shows that you are actually thinking about shape and negative shape and colors. Well, not colors, but negative shape and layout. So, I would just make this bigger and scooch this over so that this is more prominent. Make sense?
Yeah, I got it.
But I like the logo design, simple, sleek, um, as well, not necessarily sleazy, but sleek and well done. And again, like I would just not repeat the name of the company because it's already part of the logo name. So other than that, I think it's a pretty good design. Um, I'm trying to think, yours might be one of those logos where it would actually make sense if it's a vertical one. You know what I mean, Savoy? Like then you could have sleazy, and then it just goes down. You're the manager, the address, the email address, and then the um, website at the bottom.
I see what you're saying, but like you don't think that'd be a lot of information at the bottom?
No, you just have the logo here a little bit bigger, and then you can clump the information. I mean, you can not clump, but spread it out, so that it doesn't read like a lot of information at the bottom. You can spread it out starting from about here, about a little bit about one third of the way up. Like this is where the logo would be, sleazy, and then you can have, your name here, your position right under there, and then the street address, phone number, email address, and um, um, website. So basically, what you're doing is you're chunking out the information. You have a first chunk on the upper third, which is your logo, the second chunk of information, which is going to be your name and your position, and then on the lower third, another chunk of information, which includes the street, phone, email, and website at the bottom.
Okay.
Okay, it just because I think it would read better, and also there's nothing wrong with business cards that are uh, vertical. I've got plenty of business cards from associates who have vertical, whose business cards are vertical. And that's another thing. I didn't say it had to be horizontal. I just said 3.5 by 2 inches, right? So if you think, but again, if you don't want to do that and you want to just kind of adjust this so that it reads a little bit better and your logo is more prominent than the other stuff, then you could try that. I mean, you can go with that as well, but I just think this is one of those rare cases where I feel like it would definitely look better in a vertical format. All right. And you all can chime in too. What do you guys and gals think? Don't let me do all the talking. Anybody? Anybody? Nobody's thinking. It is pretty simple. And again, what Savoy should really draw us to this is your logo. Madison, his logo is the actual word. That's what I was saying. It's kind of like, Coca-Cola or Sony or one of those companies where the word is the logo. And he obviously stylized it because, this is something where did you Savoy, did you turn these into shapes and then that's how you work them?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I thought about that too, April. I thought about, what if your logo was www.sleazy.com and the sleazy is the logo, but also it's, I wouldn't, I would and I wouldn't. If you go with the vertical format, then I would still just make that logo bigger. But if you want to incorporate it, I don't, in this case, I feel like it would be a little weird looking. Um, but you know, this is one of those Savoy where you have multiple options here because your logo is the word. So just think about the comments we just talked about and what, how you would update that design and the business card. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We let's move on. Thanks for that, Savoy. And the last person I have that submitted, let me just make sure I didn't get other submissions before I go on. Okay, Gianna, I got your submission. Emmanuel, Ariana. Uh, wow, I got a bunch of submissions. Okay, all right, let's go finish up. Let's look at Yolanda's. Good design, I like it. Interesting logo. Again, this is Y Books. I really like that. And then this top right here kind of looks like, it kind of like looks like it wraps around, and it's a really good job of converting your design sketch into the actual logo, and very simplistic colors. I really like the simple yellow and black. Those are two very powerful colors when they come together. And also Y Books, you know, the overall logo, and then also the layout, the placement. What this tells me is you did some good, you did some research and you put some real thought into it. Spacing as well. It's very indicative of a standard business card. And when I say standard, I mean like, as far as being a standard business card, but the design is really, really well done and well thought out. So, and you are getting some good positive comments. Do you want to add anything to this, Yolanda, as far as any idea or anything else that you would like to add? Nothing? Okay. Well, I'm just gonna end with good overall work. There's, again, if I had to nitpick at something, I would say make this a little bit bigger so it stands out just a little bit bigger, but not too much because you don't want this to compete so much with this information, but just a little bit bigger. But other than that, I think, it stands out as a very good example of a business card. So good work, Yolanda. And then I'm going to finish up here with everyone else who submitted after we started. So let's go with Gianna. Gianna, which one am I downloading? Untitled 4 or Untitled 2? Excuse me. Oh, I see it. Business card. Duh. Okay. Let's do that. Okay. I like it. I thought you were having problems. Were you the one that said you were having problems, or was it Jennifer? I can't remember. No, it was you. I thought you said you were having problems. Tell us about your design. I like the fact that I like how you incorporate. First of all, let me say I like the overall layout. Again, it's simple, very very what do I want to say? Very standard design. And I do like the logo. I don't know, is your actual logo black and white, or did you decide to use the black and white version of your logo?
Okay, sorry. I'm back. No, the actual logo is black and white. Yeah, but I really didn't like the design because, okay, so you see the wings, while they look fine, I guess, the micro, like not the actual oval, but the lines on the sides of it.
These right here?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So you see that line connecting them? I didn't know how to get rid of it because I couldn't use the eraser.
Okay.
Um,
You mean this? Wait, you mean here?
yeah, no, the top one.
Here?
No, there, it's like,
Here?
okay, so there's this shape. It's like it's the shape behind the oval.
Okay. Oh, you mean
Yes.
this? Okay,
Yeah.
and you were trying to connect. What do you mean? What do you mean
I
you were
just wanted the line instead of like,
instead of the shaded part?
yeah.
Oh, that's easy. That's not, no, you don't use, no, totally wrong approach. I'm not saying your image is wrong, wrong approach. So what you do is you just get rid of the fill. So let's say I have this, right? That's my colored in shape. And then I have, I'm just gonna do this. Well, actually, I'll do a ellipse. So this is kind of like what you have, right? And
Yeah.
then you have another shape. I'm gonna just use the pen tool for that. Oh, come on, pen tool. I'm just gonna use the pen tool, and let's say this is. So what you're trying to do is, and I'm gonna send that back, right? So you go object, arrange, send to back. All right. And now you want to get rid of that color in there. You take your fill color. Remember this right here, which is none. Click on that, and that gets rid of the fill color.
So how would you get rid of the top line?
This top line?
Yeah.
Oh, you wanted to get rid of that top line. I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So the best way to do this would be to just go, actually, there's a couple of ways to do this. Instead of the erase tool, you would want to use the knife tool or the scissor tool. Let's try the knife tool. Basically, you take the knife tool, click here and click here and click here. That should, oops, no, that didn't do it. All right, no. So there's a couple of ways to do this. I would just get rid of the anchor point. Basically, you just want to get rid of that line over there. So instead, you can do the anchor point tool where you delete the anchor. What that's going to do is just literally delete that point. And now you have this line, which you can kind of start, oops, oh, crap, which you can basically take from, it's not going to work that way. You can start from here and make another line. I'm going to hit escape and take my anchor point tool, and you can now adjust the bottom line. This is two different lines, I believe. Yeah. That is totally not the way I wanted you to do it, but let's try that again. So you have a shape. And, just don't connect it is what I'm trying to say.
Okay,
Just,
yeah,
just,
that makes
just,
more sense. But the
just
way I
leave it.
did it
Mhm.
was it just wasn't working out. So I ended up with that.
Okay. So if you do have that, so if what you have is this, what I would do is, if you go to the direct selection tool and just click on that, you should be able to just delete the anchor points, like I was showing you earlier. So if I take that anchor point and hit delete, it becomes one single solitary line. There's a way to do that. Not the slice tool. The scissor tool is what did I tell you the scissor tool or the eraser tool before? I can't remember. If you take the scissor tool and just make a click, that's what I just did while I was talking. So I take the scissor tool, I can make a click here and a click here. And basically what that did is cut that line out. That's what I was trying to show you.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That does make sense.
Okay.
Thank you.
Not the, yeah, and they're all kind of clumped together. The eraser tool does one thing. The knife tool, what it does is it kind of cuts, a pre-existing shape. So if I select this, take the knife tool, I go from anchor point to anchor point, it'll basically, now I have two individual shapes that needs to be ungrouped. And oops, and created created that shape. Why isn't it working correctly? Did I not do that correctly? Let me just double check. So you take the knife tool, you cut against it, and it basically turns it into two different shapes. So that's what the knife tool does, as opposed to the eraser tool, which basically erases it and gives you a brand new shape, and different from the knife tool, which basically gets rid of individual curves. So I knifed that section, and now I should be able to grab that area away. But that's not working really well on a shape. The knife tool works well on the kind of example I just showed you, which is what you basically were looking for. So the knife tool works in something like this, where I just cut here and here. Oops, where I click on, click on this. Sorry if I'm confusing you, but click on that, click on that. Scissor tool, click on that, click on that. That'll get rid of your shape. All right. So and that was the whole thing, is like just experiment with these. Some of the, like I said, the scissor tool works with the lines, the knife tool works with shapes. You have to select it first. The knife tool works with shapes, and the eraser tool basically cuts a shape in your object. All right. So now that we've gone through that, let's look at your business card. So this is kind of, you didn't want this here, right? And you just want
Right.
to get rid of that.
Honestly, I'd play around with that because it's not connecting as well as I had hoped. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Uh,
that's
um,
something I need to fix.
and what yeah, I was gonna ask, like, I forgot what this shape is supposed to be indicative of. Like, what is that supposed to tell us, show us? I know this is your initial stylized, and I really like that, but what is, basically I'm looking at it as like a, oh, that's right, it's a microphone. Um, what I would have, yeah, I think you just need to kind of play with the shape a little bit so that it's not exactly oval. what I would do is, um, I didn't show you all this, but one of the, well, I didn't show you all that because I was hoping you would experiment as needed. But basically, if you go with the rounded rectangle tool, you could create more of a true,
Oh, that looks way better. Okay.
okay. And then you can also go to your these things, your anchor points, and like maybe bring them with the arrow tool, bring them closer together. And I'm holding down shift so they don't move, you know, bring them closer together like that. And then you can do your grill for the microphone like we were talking about last week. And this is going to be more of a this kind of color. One of the annoying parts about Illustrator is that you have to select the object. So you see how easy that was done? And again, they're all over here. So the rounded rectangle tool would have worked a lot better. And then you can kind of go through and add, well, you would add this to your existing design, and that would be the microphone stand. So this is the strongest part of your design, the way you stylize your initials, but this, yeah, it needs to look more like a mic, like a microphone. To me, for some reason, I thought that was an egg, um, with a couple of holes in it. But now, I think you have a better idea of how to create the microphone shape, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, and overall, like I said, the design, the overall layout is very good. It's just that this design, your logo kind of just
Yeah.
needs to stand more. And watch the edge. This is like way too close to the edge here. Leave about the same distance as you have on between this and this for this side as well. Makes
Right.
sense?
Okay.
Okay, but everything else is like you said, pretty good. You just need to work on that logo, basically. All right. Okay, thank you, Gianna. And let me go to, you all are gonna get like, it's so weird. You're gonna get two grades. One is gonna be the grade that you're gonna get right now that I'm putting in is for the overall business card, and then there's gonna be a separate grade that I'm doing for you all, which is the logo itself. All right, so just be aware of that. All right, Emmanuel, are you here? Yes, you are. Okay. Um, Emmanuel, interesting design. I want to see, where's your logo? I don't see I don't see exactly a logo here. So do you want to explain the design a little bit?
If you're asking about the logo, I didn't get to finish it because it kept turning out bad.
Okay. All right. Anybody want to say any comments or anything for the design of the business card? Anyone? What was your original logo? Because I can't remember yours, Emmanuel.
It was like it was just a simple like dragon icon.
Okay, let's see. Let me go back to last week. Um, okay, right. Um, all right, submit what you have because I don't know how far you've gotten with your design, but this is a very simplistic design. It's just a matter of like you being able to manipulate the pen tool. And that just unfortunately, I mean not unfortunately, but that just requires more practice. So I don't know how much time you were able to put into, using Illustrator in the last 2 weeks with the pen tool, pen practice. with the pen tool practice. That was the whole point of me giving you that first, so that you can get an idea to use the pen tool. But also, just as far as this design, think about a couple of things. The main thing is, this is in real life, this is 3.5 by 2 inches. So in real life, it's going to be even smaller than this, and your text is going to get all lost, because it's going to be so small. So think about that. Think about the layout, and also finally, we've come to the point where we really don't need to spell out phone, website, email address. At this point, like, people get it. You don't have to point out like website. And in the 90s, when people were doing business cards, they did that because email and websites were brand new things, so they had to be identified. But nowadays, you don't have to do that anymore. So I would get rid of the identifiers, because people know that this is your phone number, this is your email address, this is your website. And if you have something with city, include the city and state and zip code, then people will know that that's your street address. Um, this design is interesting, but just think about how you're going to um, finish your logo and create this update this design, so that it's first of all bigger, because again, like I said, it's going to be appearing even smaller than this when people see it. If you printed it out, it would be 3.5 by 2 inches. This would be very, very small. This design is unique, but I don't know how you're going to be able to keep, or how much of this design you will be able to keep when you finish your logo design. So now tell me, why have you not been able to finish this design? I mean, I know you said it already, but what exactly are you having issues with, or do you just need a little bit more time?
I think it's like a combination of both, because when I tried to get the lines and stuff, but it just looked all weird.
Define weird, like,
Like
because
in some places it just did not look straight. It was,
okay, did you do the practice? Did you submit that?
yeah.
Okay, and did you while you were doing the pen practice, you figured out how to um make those lines straight, right? Yes, no.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
somewhat, yeah.
Okay, so basically, like, if this is your design, I'm just gonna go over this quickly, but if this is your design right here, huh, that's weird. I'm getting error messages. Hold on, let me open this. What is going on with my computer? Okay, so weird. My computer didn't want to open that file for some reason, and now it won't let me move it. Um, okay, so if that's your design, what you want to do is bring it into Illustrator. So once I'm in Illustrator, I'll just go ahead and close this and open up a new document. We'll do 5 by 5 inch. Doesn't really matter what kind of size, because you're working in vector. And I'm going to go File, Place to insert that file, and insert your image right there. Might be too big or too small. That's fine. You can resize it as needed. Remember to hold down Shift, because it's unlike Photoshop. You have to hold down Shift to resize your image in Illustrator. All right, so that's going to be in one layer. You with me so far, Emmanuel?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna lock that layer where the dragon thing is, and then I'm gonna go to my main layer, and you're just gonna start taking your shape tool and just kind of align it. All right. And then when you get to these parts right here, instead of clicking and dragging, you're just gonna click if you want sharper lines. Once you get that, once you get a rough line, I'll just go about this much. Once you get a rough line, and let's get rid of the fill. And I'm gonna make this bigger so I can see it. Once you get that, remember I went over this a couple of days ago. You want your direct selection tool, all right? And that's gonna bring up your points. See how they move? If you don't want that, you take your convert anchor point tool, go like that. And just working with your convert anchor point tool, you wanna adjust the lines where you need sharp lines, just click it once, it'll get sharp. If you want one to be sharp and the other one not to be sharp, then you take this again and just kind of click and drag, and then I'll take this one and just move it there. All right. So this is just a matter of basically practicing in the software with the tools. Maybe my stroke is too big. There we go. So, just practice like that. Take your anchor point tool. And if you remember a couple of weeks ago, I said if you basically are able to master this part where you're creating and going back and forth between your shortcut keys, you're basically going to be able to work very well in Adobe Illustrator. All right. And it's just a matter of adding more lines to those to get it to look better. So I can make this probably a little bit more sharper. Take this too, and then basically these handles, when you take the convert anchor point tool and you click on them, they become curved. But then if you click on one side and then take your direct selection tool, shortcut key A, click on one side and you move it around, then it becomes a corner or jagged or sharp, whatever you want to call it. Does that make sense? Do you see that, Emmanuel? Okay, so yeah, just practice. That's all. That's all it's gonna take. So oops, did I close everything? So that's all it's gonna take. Just keep practicing on that and just getting used to working with your anchor point tool and your direct selection tool. So I guess so. Hopefully you have the feedback now to like really finish your project, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. Who is next? Ariana. Ariana, you're here, right? Nope. Ariana is not here. We'll look at hers briefly. Interesting, work with the fonts, but and the colors are really nice, but I think Ariana needs a little more work with this. Ariana, I wish you were here in class so I could tell you that, instead of doing this, start off with a creative font, or not I shouldn't say creative font, but something what Ariana should have done is something like picking something where it's a nice cursive you know cursive text to begin with, and then she could manipulate that after turning it into an actual cursive text. I don't like the way that this, new text, new way of the working with the character text, it does it in Illustrator. You can go to the top instead, to look for it. And I'm doing this for the benefit of everyone, not just Ariana. But if you want to do something like a cursive text, it'll filter it out, something like that. I'm going over that right now, and I'll go over that in detail again for yours, April. Um, so you want to do something like that, and then create outlines, which is going to convert the text into individual shapes, and then ungroup them, and that gives you control over each of the individual letters. And then it's a matter of just basically something cursive like that will have a lot of anchor points. So, you may want to be careful with that, or you can basically use a nice cursive font to start off with so that, that part looks good. But the rest of the design looks decent, looks good. And the rest of the font looks very well done as well. Just got to fix this, and I would like to see this more of a crescent come to a point here. And I literally just went over that with Emmanuel's work, where you have to turn these into a point by selecting the anchor point tool. Okay, Mia, you are next. Let me pull yours up. You emailed, yeah, there it is. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to figure, okay, show all of them. Mia, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Um, good overall work. I really like the overall design. I like the color scheme. I like the logo. We talked about leaving this open so that we talking about Gestalt theory when we were talking about yours. This is I like it. Any comments, anyone? Any other comments to add to what I just said besides I like it? Nope, I gotta have my chats turned on. The swoops, you mean these things? Okay, I'm agreeing with most of your comments. I don't know if I would change it though, because I feel like the only part I would change is this top right here. Do you see that, Mia, on the top where it kind of looks like it just, you know?
Yeah, it loses the shape.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I would just stretch it out just a little bit off the page. But I wouldn't really, I like because it does keep us within the imagery, um, and the logo as well. Uh, if I were to change anything, I would say like maybe make this swirly thing right here just a tad bigger and a little bit, more inside the cup, and see how if that makes anything, a little bit better or worse. Madison says maybe the thickness of the ribbons could be different. Um, maybe you can try it, but to me it reads as like we're looking at here. It doesn't necessarily because the way the ribbon like this works is like we're looking at this and then it kind of leads me to here, and then we can like go over your information over here. So also I really like the use of the text. Good job of using all caps for that, and then That really shows me your understanding how to use fonts. And again, what your comments, what your classmates are saying, maybe try a little bit skinnier. I don't know if it really needs to be, but that like hitting the page, maybe it could kind of just go point to your name, like point, just come down a little bit more or go up. See how either one works. But overall, I think it's a very nice, pleasant design, very limited colors. So it, gets right to the logo and the information. Um, so pretty good work. I was gonna, yeah, Waverly Place. Is that a real place in Greenbelt, or you just kind of added two street names together?
I completely made it up.
I like the address. All right. So think about those, but overall, I still think the only thing that really, really, really bothers me is this over here. Other than that, I like the overall design. It's very pleasant, and the thing that I kind of like about your logo. I say kind of because I don't know if I'm really digging it but I like the simplicity of it. Like it's not trying to be perfect. That's what I don't know if you did that intentionally or it's because you're still trying to figure out working with Illustrator, but I like that it's like, not intentionally perfect in terms of the shape. It's got a little, um what do you call it? It's got a little like uniqueness to it. It's not a perfect rounded saucer, and the cup is not perfectly, you know what I mean? So it's got its own unique quality in that it's not trying to be perfect. It's more of a bunch of wavy lines and stuff that's making up the whole entire logo, and then you're kind of reinforcing it with additional lines within your business card. So yeah, good overall work. Just a couple of things here and there that we talked about. Okay. Is that it? Who else did I not Jen, did I not go over yours? Is she here? Yeah, you're here. Jennifer? Are you here, Jennifer? Let's pull
No, you
your
didn't go over mine.
Okay. Let's go over that in just a second. Let me I'm still trying to figure out where yours is in the email. You emailed it to me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. If I can find the right email. There we go. Businesscard.pdf. Got it. Okay. Interesting design. I feel like you're having a little um trouble kind of getting your shapes correct and working with Illustrator. And like I said, it's just gonna be a lot of, you just need a lot more practice to really overcome that. But just looking at the design right now, you did the best you can, and I feel like yours is kind of the same issue as I had with Madison, where it's kind of like all over the place. You've got the central logo as your central figure, but then everything else is kind of like here and there. So really think about your color. You want to, do you want this to be different than the other colors, or do you, and then your fonts, I wouldn't necessarily use, you've got two different fonts going on between this and this. I would stick to like one, or if you're going to use two different fonts, fonts, um I wouldn't really use this, because if this is going to be part of your logo, if this wording is part of your logo, I would definitely not use that same font for the other ones. But the reason I wouldn't use it is because for these information, it's a little harder to read. And there's a big disconnect between like your name font and then all the other different fonts. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, and then the other thing, which April says, obviously, and I've mentioned this again, you don't have to specify location, number, email, okay? Because people already know that that's what those are. And then think about font size, because when you shrink this down to an actual business card font, your name and the position is way small. And then so it looks like I kind of get that you are having a hard time just coming up with the design. I mean, creating the design in Illustrator, but everything else feels like just kind of like quickly put together just because you had to submit it on time or something. It doesn't feel really like you've really thought it out. So think about it and um, also uh, just a little bit of research. And I hope you were paying attention to all the other critiques and seeing some of the designs that were a little bit that were better than, other designs. But looking at like just other ideas in business cards, like the biggest thing is to have your information so that, like I said before, it's easily accessible. Like everything should be on one side, or your name can be bigger here and the rest can follow down the line, and your um, logo with uh, the company name can be on this side, like occupying this space. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And does that make sense to you in terms of um, um, just basically how you would, update it? Yes, no.
Yes, I understand now.
Okay. Um, Tell me, so first of all, I know just from looking at your design, it's a great, what do I want to say, a great attempt. It definitely shows me you were thinking, but I feel like you're kind of struggling with the pen tool. Did you do the pen tool practice thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, I didn't look. I gotta look at yours again. I didn't have a chance to look at it, but um, did you email me? You emailed me the pen tool, right?
Yes.
Okay. Um, So taking what you learned from that practice tool, you could definitely make it so that these top parts are a little bit curvier, and also like, make this look more like well, this part is okay. Just I see what you're trying to do with the lines. But just kind of, I wouldn't add too many, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would just add 3. I think we talked about that last time. Um, so if you just, kind of add 3 layers instead of 5, that would be more simplistic. And basically what you can do is kind of, start off with a shape. I'm going to color that in. And then you can just convert it to curves. So I take my convert anchor point tool and just convert it to curves like that, so that you have, basically what looks like frosting. And then the good part about that is, once you do one, you can essentially copy and paste the rest. I'm gonna take this too and just kind of do that. So you can start off with one, Control C, Control V, and then, um, you don't even have to do much to it. You can just kind of rotate it the other way, shrink it down a little bit, and then maybe match, you know, the curves. Do you see what I'm doing here, Jennifer?
Yes.
Okay, something like that. Um, so that you basically have like three levels of frosting, not too much. s- you don't want to do too much because then it's gonna drive you insane. Um, and you can go smaller. And I keep saying this, and I know most of you are all are high schoolers, so you're not going to get it now. But when you go to college and you have a lot of work to do and all this other stuff, shortcut keys, they really help. Um, I used to fail my students for not using shortcut keys, but then I stopped doing that uh, just because students started, I know the serious ones are going to always use shortcut keys. That's not a issue. My issue is basically when students stop trying. All right, so something like this, but obviously you would take more time on yours. Right now, this actually literally, as I'm looking at it, it kind of looks like a pile of turd. So that's not what you want for your frosting. Of course, it might change if I change the color, but yeah. Uh, all right, Jennifer, something like that. And I'll just change this to something that's more like Jennifer's color so that it doesn't look like a pile of turd. All right, so just three simple shapes instead of like all these layers, because this actually does add a lot of more complexity to your logo. So just be aware of that. All right, so I think I'm finished critiquing yours, and I hope you pretty much got an idea of what you need to do to update and adjust that. Um, all right, who did I not cover? April, I didn't cover. You're the last one, right? Yes. Okay, let me pull yours out. Give me a few minutes. You emailed it to me in the course, right? Through Canvas. Okay. I think from if I recall from our last week's class, you basically were sticking with like a black and white logo. Am I right? Okay, so your actual logo has color, um, but you decided to go with the black and white version for your business card, correct? Okay. Yeah, I like the overall look. Well, I kind of did, it doesn't have to be, but you can include the color one. I like the overall look. As far as your logo, the only thing that's really that I'm really looking at is this part right here where it's kind of, I don't know if that was intentional. Was that intentional right here, or did you mean to make it a nice uh sphere? For the W, yeah, it was this right here where it goes from a curve to this kind of thing. That's the only thing that's really that like just catching my eye, like, oh my God, that should be nice curve. Um, but this shape right here, like this right here should be a nice curve. We get the W, it does work, and we get the S, and then W. Um, it's interesting ways of interesting way of portraying that. What I would change, the biggest thing I would change, I like the logo, by the way. The biggest thing that I would change though is the font style for this, because again, this is fine because this is what your company is. The logo is a very nice design. You do have, again, it's just a little issue here and there, but that's gonna um, if you have more practice with Illustrator, that's just going to be one of those things you'll figure out how to accomplish with more practice. The biggest thing, though, that I was saying is just change the font for this so that it is more easier to read. You don't really want, something where it's kind of cursive-y and this kind of thing, um, um, where uh, you are, forcing your viewers to really, really, really like, you want to give them the information right away. So this is it's going to come off a little bit hard to read. The issue with the logo, what I was saying is this, just this little part right here, and then how you have these little random bumps here. This is just going to be one of those things where as you work more in Illustrator, you'll get better. And a lot of this curve work is actually really well done. So it's just, you do have a lot of practice. You are doing a lot of practice in this. So very good work with that. It's just this little bit right here. I just feel like it should be curved, instead of coming down like that. But I get it. I see how it's supposed to be a W. Um, but if that's the case, maybe I don't know. I don't know. Maybe just, you know, have it so that it, mm, yeah, I get it that it follows the other side, but it doesn't, it's like there's a disconnect where it goes, if you were to draw a straight line and then it would be like, oops, not so straight, you know. But that's it. Maybe it's just a matter of like rotating this just a little bit so that if we were to draw a straight line, it would get, it would measure up, it would line up perfectly. Because then that might be it. Like this will work. It's just a matter of just rotating this just slightly so that if we were to draw a straight line, it would be, one straight line here. All right. That makes sense. I hope you get it. Okay, yes. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yep. Just and I think that's the main thing. It's like, it's like my mind is freaking out because this is not connecting straight with this. Other than that, everything is good, and just, change the font. I like the overall impression that your business card creates. And also, really good use of negative spacing and shapes. You didn't have to fill all these in, and using just the black and white version, I think it does really good work. Does as far as design, it works really well. Maybe just increase the thickness as well, because it might be a little too negative, because again, you're seeing it, well, actually, when you scale it down, it's not bad. No, I would leave the thickness. I wouldn't mess with that. But when you scale it down, this is how small it's going to look. So again, you just want to make sure that text is easily readable and accessible. And my OCD here is like, I want that to line up. So just those two major comments. All right, I think that concludes everybody's critiques. Did I miss anyone else? Richard, are you? No, Richard, I skipped him. All right, so that's that. What I want to do, it's already 8:30. I should have given you guys a break, but I just want to go over. I'm not going to go over the brush tutorials since we are running a little late. Whoops, you didn't see that. What I want to do though is go through the assignment for this week. So this assignment is due next Wednesday, and it's not due before class. Like you have till after class to finish it. What you're gonna do is create a cool vector robot character using Illustrator. And the tutorial is here. It's a PDF tutorial. You can just download it and follow through. It's only in PDF. There's no video version of this, and it's a very simple tutorial, to be honest. Like just follow it, you know, down to just follow it step by step. Um, and you all should be able to get it. The only way I will tell you from experience with having given this tutorial out for the last 6 years is that, and giving it out to all sorts of age groups, is that the only time people struggle with this is when they don't spend enough time in the software. So, you know, you can't skim through this or anything, but if you follow it step by step, um, if you follow it step by step, this is the final product. But what I want you to do is to make it your own. Um, you know, change up the shapes a little bit, change up the colors a little bit so that the robot character is truly something that is your original work. Um, so this is the final product, and um, the tutorial is step by step, shows you everything, screenshots, how to start with you know, your how to start with the shape, um, continuing to add to the shape, and all the different tools that you'll need. And it literally spells out everything. So you all should be able to finish this in no time. I mean, you know, more or less no time, but you have a week, and it's a very simple assignment. My undergrads usually do it in about 5 days. My community college students usually take, for some reason, a whole week. And my middle school students do it in about 3 days. So, you know, just follow this down to a T. Any questions about that? I'm still scrolling down through the steps so you all can see how you know, so it's basically creating a bunch of shapes using the different styles that are available in Illustrator. And what you're going to do is basically change it up so that it becomes more of your own, make it unique. I did not create this guide. It's Vector Cove website where it comes from. And, you know, like I said, it's pretty easy. It's teaching you a bunch of things that I want you all to know, like using the styles panel, learning about colors, inputting colors for gradients, learning about the different type of gradients. I could give you like really, really hard assignments for this, but this really works very well. And then using the appearance panel to change and add to your appearance and shapes, and then just basically copying and pasting stuff here. Yeah, I'm available for questions if you get lost, but if you get lost, you know, I mean, it's really hard to get lost with this tutorial, but you know, I'm available for questions if you do get lost. The main thing I will say, if you ever get lost, is Window, Workspace, Reset Essentials Classic. That's going to reset your panel to the original, and you can, you know, that because most students get lost with these panels because they don't know where other panels go, and it's, you know, it's something that you really, really need to know with any Adobe. Actually, it's not any Adobe products, it's with all computer software, 3D animation products and things like that. Panels, these are your panels, these right here, these panels, these are all your different panels. So that's the biggest part, is that, you know, almost every software graphical software will have these panels, and that's the biggest part where I see students kind of have issues with, where they can get lost. I mean, sometimes I can get lost too trying to find these panels. If you ever get lost and can't find them, they're all here. But the tutorial, if you follow it step by step, it'll tell you, go to window, go to illuminate panels, which is somewhere here. Um, blah, blah, blah. Let me see where it is. Um, yes, I'm not gonna go step by step um, to be walked through the steps. I'm not gonna go step by step, but I will take questions next week if you have any questions regarding this. But I would say before you like stop anticipating questions and start doing the work first, and then you'll see what kind of questions you have. But I that's why it's due at the end of next Wednesday instead of beginning of class, because this is again just a step-by-step thing that you should be able to finish very quickly. um, so that's illuminate styles. That's going to be under graphic styles, illuminate styles. So you'll figure out and you'll, come across all these panels. And again, like I said, that's the uh part of what you're going to use. So April, you don't understand that statement at all. Basically, if I give you something without starting, you immediately have questions, then I will probably start worrying about something. Do the work first and then figure out what questions you have is what I'm trying to say. um, Oh, I feel like you're anticipating a lot of questions, but see how well you can do. I don't think you'll do that bad. Y'all are pretty uh y'all are pretty good at following directions for the most part. Sometimes though the directions can be confusing, and that's when you all have questions. So that's when, but start it first and then see what questions you have. The other thing I just want to end with, I wanted to go through all right, so the vector robot characters due next Wednesday. The other thing I want to end with is, well, I wanted to show you. We'll cover these two next week. Create textures in Illustrator and working with the paintbrush. But um, with these two items that you're going to need, you're going to want to well, these are tutorials really. They're going to come in handy for the final project. So how to create textures. Remember when we did the texture tutorial, texture project in Photoshop, that and that. So just kind of work on those on the vector robot assignment, and then we'll cover these two next week because I want to just make sure that you all are aware of these tools and you will probably end up using it for your final project. Also, once you go through the robot assignment, you'll figure this out. You'll figure this out, you know, a lot easier than that. All right. So, do I have so any other questions as far as this week, next week, anything else? Yes, what's your question? Emmanuel, you have a question? When should you resubmit the business card? Good question. Let's look at the calendar. I will say as early as possible. Remember, I'm gonna do like a cutoff date of resubmitting everything by the 30th of November. Try not to wait for that long because then you're gonna get a lot of other work piling up that you have to resubmit. But just as soon as possible would be good. No later than the 30th of November, but I would say, while it's still fresh in your head, go ahead and do the work. and work on that. You might actually, find that after you do the robot assignment, you get a little bit more practice in Illustrator, and then you can resubmit the business card project. So you can do it that way as well. And remember, I'm going to give you I have a separate grade that's going to be just for your logo. So I'm going to do that. Put that in next week. I'm sorry, this week, after reviewing everybody's logo in detail. And then the other thing is, I still have work. Most of you all submitted, but if I don't have things submitted for you all, I will send you a message. Okay. So I hope that answered your question somewhat, Emmanuel. So, no later than the 30th, but while it's still fresh in your head, I would keep kind of working on it and stuff. Anybody else have any questions, concerns? Nothing at all? Okay. All right. Well, if you don't have any other questions, concerns, then I will let you all go, and we'll see each other all next week, on Wednesday.